How's it going, guys? The first DLC from the South American Tropic Thunder whatever DLC has been announced. Division from the DLC. How's it going, guys? How's it going, guys? The first new division from the Tropic Thunder DLC has been announced, and that's more Marines. We got the Big Red Four, the US 4th Marine Division in Warno Tropic Storm. I call it Thunder. Anyway, the 4 is off-center. Who designed this logo? Probably a Marine, right? Shouldn't it be up here a little bit more so it's a bit more in the middle? So yeah, Devblog showcase. We're going to read out all of the units and compare them to what's already existent. Most notably, most likely, these Marines look very Arab. Anyway, most notably the second Marine Division, which is already in the game, right? And yeah, we'll just go through it, right? People like listening to me read for some reason. So, Tropic Division number 1, 4th Marine Division. Hello, Commanders. Today's Devblog marks the very first Warno Tropic Storm Division preview, one you eager beavers have undoubtedly been looking forward to. We'll start with the Western aligned US 4th Marine Division. So yeah, it's a blue division, I guess. Hoorah! 4th US Marine Division's history. You can just skip to the units if you just check the description if you don't care about history. First up in Warno Tropic Storm's divisional roster is a rather special United States Marine Corps formation, the 4th US Marine Division. This particular battle group has its genesis, like many other Warno formations, like yeah, in World War II. Raised in 1943, it fought in the Pacific Theatre, with 4 successful amphibious assaults to its name, including Iwo Jima. Oh, that must have been fun. Yeah. Deactivated after the war, the formation was reactivated in 1966 as a USMC reserve division. Here comes the special part. Based in the United States, it serves as a training formation. It provided a nucleus of training personnel and instructors for USMC reservists in peacetime, while remaining a coherent formation in its own right that could quickly deploy to war. In this capacity, the 4th Marine Division served out the remainder of the Cold War with no active deployments until a little bit after Warno's timeline ends with the real-life Desert Storm in 1991. It was here that the 4th Marine Division fought with distinction, proving that even though the formation might field reservists and older weaponry, it could still stand on its own and fight. These guys got like H.A. Abrams or something. I remember mentioning that when I was reading out the second US Marine Dev blog. So yeah, here they are in it must be like the color grading on the photo. I know there's like a lot of like South Americans, Latin Americans in the US Marines, but yeah, I mean they literally just look like Kuwaitis. I don't know what to say. The 4th Marine Division detailed. Although the US 4th Marine Division is structured along the same lines as Warno's Landjut 2nd Marine Division, there are some notable differences. Most of the division's personnel are USMC reservists, which we identify as USMCR in Warno. In-game, these are on par with the Soviet Naval Infantry reservists. The USMCR units will lose the Marines' Resolute trait, but in a positive spin, not gain the reservist trait. So I was having a conversation with some people before I recorded this, and this is interesting and a little bit vague, because so if you look at the Soviet reservists, and obviously everything's subject to change, so Soviet Marine reservists are 1 vet but not resolute, right? It's like 1 vet airborne, not resolute. But the point my colleague made was, well, if you look at the reservists in... All my decks got nuked, right? In stuff like Rugener, these are East German reservist Marines, and they don't get the vet, right? Whereas a regular Marines, such as the Marsoans or the ones in 2nd US Marine, I'll show you the 2nd US Marine ones. I did want to flex my knowledge though. They have reservist and 1 vet. So when they say it's like the Soviet one, is the Soviet one just wrong and they shouldn't be vetted? Or or will they be vetted and not have the Resolute even though the other reservist Marines are not vetted and stuff like that? And then there's other ones like Terrier's reservist airborne. Terrier Para's reservist airborne, they don't get the thing, but they're not reservist Marines, but there is a case of reservist Marines in this game, the Marine Pioneers in Rugana, who don't get the Resolute. Sorry, yeah, they don't get the Resolute, but they also don't get the Vet. So, which one will it be? Does it really matter? Who knows? But it's worth thinking about. New equipment took longer to trickle down into the USMC's sole reserve division. This means an older arsenal of weapons and vehicles. And unlike other Marine Corps divisions, the 4th Marine Division featured 2 tank battalions instead of 1. Famously, when mobilised for Desert Storm in 1991, it was the first USMC formations to receive the mighty M1A1 HA main battle tank. So I believe the HC is the Marine variant, but I guess it wasn't invented yet. I also don't know what the difference is. Obviously, in Warno, the HA Abrams is one of the best tanks in the game. It's the best NATO tank in the game. But Pact keeps getting mega upgrades, right? So the TAEU Mega D or whatever is better because it's got 25 pen anti-tank missile on it. So the way you play it is you shoot the gun, then you switch off the gun and fire the ATGM at them. And you might, because the gun has a reload time of 5.4 seconds, whereas the ATGM only has to aim, so it's 2.1. And then you blat them with the ATGM with 25 pen. 225 suppression's a big deal as well. And then you switch the gun back on, fire 2 more shots, and then switch back to the ATGM. I've got a video on that. If you check out the Warno Guides playlist, it's called like How to Double Tank Damage. I understand that it's like that's cheesy and gross, but that's the game. You play the game. If you're playing against somebody who's good at the game, you need to leverage your skill set or you're going to lose. The 4th Marine Division in Warno. How will the 4th Marine Division appear in Warno Tropic Thunder? New units are both italic and bolded. The following is still a work in progress and subject to change. As mentioned above, all USMCR designated units below are non-resolute, but will they be non-vetted? Or will they be vetted without the resolute? And will you have to pay for it? Who knows? Who knows? Like I don't even know because but you know it might change. So, so yeah, logistics, an average category. Most of the command units in the logistics category are formed by regular USMC troops, meaning it will be identical to the. It's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. Get the names on the screen, they get the videos early. They got this video early. They get members exclusive videos at a rate of 1 a week, so there's like over 100 of those now. This is my sole source of income, right? As many of my detractors know, I am a jobless loser. So if you want these videos to continue at the current rate, you could consider supporting the channel, or I will go get a job and then there'll be fewer videos. So maybe that's an incentive to not become a channel member. Anyway, USMC AAVC1 7A1s. So that's the AVUP thing. Now there's a unit that got removed from the game. And it was an accident, and they said they'd add it back. But like I can't show you it because it's not in the game, but I believe it's this. And it's basically, this thing, but as a command vehicle. Look, AVUP 7A1. Yes, it was that. That was the one that got accidentally removed. So I guess it's coming back, and I assume it will come back into 2nd Marine as well. It's not a, haha, you bought it, now I steal from you. It's not like that. It was just a mistake. And the Humvee CV and the Lab CV. So the one that I got rid of is the really good one. The one that, sorry, I didn't get rid of it. Gosh, what? They got rid of was the really good one because it was 50 points for one of these, for 2 of these in a card. And so you could open with those. Now in this deck, like you've got the USMC leader, which is, 60 points in the Humvee, so you don't need that AVUP thing. But we'll see how it progresses for the other one. And then here, this is 3 per card's 90 points. I don't understand why that's 90. Because the airborne Humvee CV is... So this is 90, and this is 85. So you're paying 5 points for Resolute plus Vet, which is the Marine way. Okay, I guess that makes sense. But, like, it makes sense as a rule, but in isolation it makes this kind of not worth it. And then the Lav one is 100. So it's very expensive for what it is, because it's only got an MMG on it, like it's armoured and stuff, but it's 100 points for a 2 per card CV. I just don't see the point. Sorry, I'm going to be sipping my delicious matcha tea, because I'm a loser. Supply trucks will feature some new appearances, including the USMCR Lav L, the USMCR M925 medium truck, and the LCAC off Battlefield, and also real life. So this is the counterpart to the Soviet Kalmar. Right, so the USMCR Lav L is this without Resolute, so it'll cost the same. Although, like, is supply always vetted or something? Like, is it actually... Could they realistically make it 20 points? Because it's not Resolute and vetted, even though that does not matter. I believe it does not matter. Apparently there was something that, like, up-vetted supply resupplies faster, but I don't think they ever implemented that. I mean, basically, it's one of those things where it's like, even if it is in the game, you won't notice, because that's why I don't know. The USMCR M295... What? It's not what I meant to press, bro. Okay, it's this thing. Can go shopping, apparently. Alright, so... Is that already in the game? There's, like, not an MCR, if that makes sense. 925. 925... Whoops. No, it isn't. So, yeah, okay, a truck. And the LCAC, which is the counterpart to the Kalmar. So the Kalmar and the other one. Right, so this is a hovercraft, the only hovercraft in the game, but now obviously more hovercraft, right? It's got guns on it, but it can still be captured, and it carries 15 HP, and it has 10,000 supply. So it has the same speed off-road, on-road, on the water, everything, because it's a hovercraft, which is funny. It is interesting. But that just also means it's really hard to get it to the front line because of how slow it is on the road. So, and it carries 10,000 supply, which is a really unique amount. The only other one in the game currently that has that is this thing, the Lark 60, which is the wheeled boat, right? And it has the same thing going on with the road thing, and I don't know if it's the same speed on water, I don't think it is. But the idea is that... yeah, 10,000 supply in a card, whereas like so all fobs are 16,000 and all other cards in the game are 6,000. Helibond supply CH46E, so that's this one, the not Chinook. It's got a specific name. They call it a banana, but it's obviously not the official designation, right? So it's not as big as a Chinook, so it's only 1,000 in a card, but it's got 9 CCM. And the Sea Stallion or Sea King or whatever, and that's got basically Chinook stats. CH50. Where's the Osprey, man? Was that not invented yet? It's in Transformers. Not sure how that matters, but no Osprey. So okay, so it's not exactly the same because it's slightly slower, but you get the idea. Right, I'm gonna have to Google that now. Osprey helicopter. When was it Googled? Yeah, 1988. Where's me Osprey, bro? First flight 1989. No Osprey? No Osprey, question mark? It's because it's VTOL and they can't be asked. That's my assumption. So yeah, no fob. But you've got this, and referring back to Second Marine, which we'll have to do a lot, you only need 2 cards of supply. It's not really a heavy div anyway, but you only need 2 cards of supply because, like, 3 cards would be 18,000, and with this Lark thing, 2 is 16,000. So you're making big savings. It's a bit awkward because these run out really fast, and you have to buy this, which is quite expensive, and have it at the back and ferry these to and from the Lark. So that is awkward to play, but if you're good at the game, it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, and obviously if you lose this, or if you lose the LCAC, you're gonna have a very sad time, right? Right, so now we're in the infantry category. A very good category. This means slot costs, by the way. they know it confuses people every time, and they still haven't changed the way they describe it. They expect you to put up with it. An average category doesn't mean the things in it are average. It means the slot costs are average, right? And inf a very good category. So I believe this would be an average category, and I believe this would be a very good category because it's almost entirely full. It is full. You only get 10. There's no 11. Don't even think TKS gets 11. And then it's all ones and a two, so that's a very good category. So it's similar to the current Marines, right? But you got to keep in mind that you know if somebody doesn't own Landjut, they might just buy this DLC, and also there are, I assume, are more things. And the whole thing is like they don't have the Resolute plus one vet for 5 points, so all of their units will be 5 points cheaper, which helps for the cheaper units, but it's worse for the more expensive ones because the Eyehawk with the up vet and the Resolute, like the Resolute doesn't matter, but the up vet matters a lot because you get 5% accuracy on an Eyehawk without compromising availability. Usually you would lose one vet in exchange for that. Sorry, yeah, you would lose one availability in exchange for that. So second Panzergren, right? Eyehawk's 3, 2, 1, right? Whereas the Marine one starts at 1, and you can't afford to lose an Eyehawk, right? You can't get it max vet, it doesn't really matter. But the point is, you get 5% accuracy without compromising availability, and if it's 5 points more than 100, 110 plus 5 is not a big deal. On a percentage, it's not a big deal. Whereas something like the 50 cal, it goes from 30 to 35, right? And that it matters more because as a percentage of that unit, with how many of those units you'll be buying, it matters a lot more. And the cheaper the unit, the more it matters, if that makes sense. And the more expensive a unit, the better an advantage it is to have that. So it will be different anyway. So the reservist base UMCR, 50 cals, grenade launchers, TOW2s, rifleman law, and assaultmen are the non-resolute, maybe not one vet counterparts to regular marine units. So so here's the 50 cal, and it might be 5 points cheaper, and might be not vetted and might be not resolute. I'm just going to stop saying that now. This same story, right? Here's the assault men. So these fire AT and anti-infantry. This is actually a really awkward unit to use properly because the ranges on the HE one and the AT one are different. So if you attack move, it will stop. It will shoot the HE one and it will not do 125 suppression. It will do literally nothing. And then the enemy turns around and shoots you. So you gotta pay attention when you're using these. It's a bit awkward. It's interesting though, right? And then TOW2. So no MMG teams, right? But you've got the grenade launcher, which I bring. 50 cal, laws, TOW2. TOW2 is another one of those where it's really great that it gets the Resolute and one vet in this div, and we're assuming in the other div it won't. I'm just going to assume it won't, right, from now on. So I don't have to say it over and over again. So it would be... Because, 95 points versus 100. Well, it's 5% more price for more accuracy and the suppression resistance and aim time and so on. So, yeah. Hopefully I've got that into your noggin now. USMC aero rifles. Oh, so they're not the reservist ones, they're just these ones. So they will be exactly like this. So there you go. Yeah. Backed by USMC Engineers Leader, taking charge of the reservists under their command. So that is that's Scuff trying to get me to join one of his scuffed lobbies. Proud of that joke, am I? And that's pro Commie Hut. So this is a nice squad. It's just this is 3 per card, so you always bring that one. But it looks like we're not getting that one, so you don't have a choice. And then we've got some actual new units. One difference to note was that the USMCR was at the bottom of the Marine Corps priority list for new equipment. This means not all infantry squads received and saw or an LMG. I can understand why somebody would make that, yeah, because it's like, it just depends how you pronounce it. Instead, they relied on the old NAM-era USMC pattern of using one M16 in a light machine gun roll with a bipod and extra magazines, while squeezing the trigger as fast as possible to provide fire support as a makeshift squad assault weapon. So is it gonna just have the same stats? That's the question. So M16 in an LMG roll is probably just an L80. It's just an L86A1, right? So because it's more or less what the British one is. So this is the L86. L85A1, which is of course is the best weapon ever created, and if anybody tells you otherwise, they're just wrong, bro. It's the best weapon ever made. Anyway, for the light support weapon, they did just make it longer. Like it is the same, they just made it longer. I believe it has a heavier barrel, and so it still fires 30 round, box mags, whatever you want to call them, banana magazines. And that's the squad assault weapon. Now, in game, there is functionally no difference between the I need one with two. Between the M249. No, what? There is. It's got less accuracy. Really? So there is a difference between the M249 and the L86A1. The L86A1 has more accuracy and is therefore better. Ooh, somebody's going to be unhappy about that. So the L86A1 light support weapon with its 30 round box mags is better than the M249 Sword with its belt fed, precision designed to be a machine gun. I believe like the higher echelons of British infantry use the saw because they're like, oh, it's better. But no, look, there it is. But no, in this game, the L86A1, so the M16A1 LMG, if they base it off the L86, is actually going to be better. Yeah, what can I say? What can I say? Or they might give it bespoke stats and make it worse, right? You never know. Anyway, USMCR Rifleman Dragon are 5 dudes with 4 M16s, one, you know, Schrodinger's weapon, and the Dragon too. So that's like Fire Team Dragon. Oh, there's 6. Okay, so it's like Aero Fire Team Dragon. And this, they get the 1 vet without the airborne forward deployment because they're in 101st, so they don't pay the 5-point tax. Although, I guess they do, because the other one is 6 dudes. Like, do they still get shock in the Marines? A Marine shock. Riflemen. No, they're not. They're not actually shock trained. It's interesting, because in Red Dragon, there is no resolute trait. It's just you have training levels, so they would be, I believe, they're shock. Anyway, so that's probably going to cost about 40 points. The USMCR gunner squads are larger than their USMC counterparts with 11 soldiers, including 2 M60s, which is worse, although didn't they fix it to make it the same as all the other ones? I don't know. I'll complain no matter what, as you pointed out. So this is 11 dudes with 2 M60s plus a law. So the M60 used to be worse than other 7.62. That's because it's there you go. Because if you compare that to who's got a PKP, 1 PKP, it's quite uncommon actually. Because motor Strelky's RPKs, 1 PKP. Maybe some of the Polish units. What do the Poles get? I mean, we're here to analyze, right? So this is why it takes. So there you go. PKM, PKP are the same in this game. I know. Oh, it's in real life. Thankfully, World War III didn't happen. So, yeah, the M60 used to be worse than all of the 7.62 machine guns. And it still is, because the reload time's higher. Look at the reload time. Every other stat's the same, except the reload time. And you might be like, big whoop, the reload time. That's literally your DPS, bro. If you're firing, calculate right now, 60 divided by 2.3 is 26 rounds a minute. Okay, what was the other one? 2.8. 60 divided by 2.8 is 21 rounds a minute. Wait, what was the other one? 23. 21.4 versus 26. What was the first one? 23. So 23 over 26 times by 100. You're doing 88% of the damage. I guess it's not that different, but it does, you know, it is a difference. It's not as different as I thought it was. We'll just edit out that part, which made me look bad. So, yeah, because you also get the M240 Bravo on the Americans, which has the same stats as the PKM. Now I'm trying to think of a unit that gets like that's some of those aero rifle guys get the oh no, it's mech rifles. Mech rifles get the yeah, so you see the M240 Bravo has the PKM stats. So the M60 is still worse, which is good that there's a difference between them. You want a difference. Whether or not you can tell in-game, you basically can't. But this is really interesting, right? Because the way... Like, this is basically the opposite way round. So the way Second Marine works, and I've got a pro guide out for Second Marine. It's like 2 hours long. It explains a lot. It'll put you in good stead. This division's weakness is that these units are too expensive. It's not that, like, in isolation, it makes sense for this to cost that much. It's just, in general, big, bulky, expensive squads aren't that good at the high-end gameplay because they still have 500 suppression mana, so they get suppressed the same. You know, one arty piece is still going to knock them out, one bomber's probably still going to kill them. They do survive sometimes. So it's better to have smaller squads. So the example I brought up, now consider it this, the example I brought up 24 hours before this video came out is Second Marine versus Erster Land Commando, explaining some of the weaknesses and strengths of both divisions. There's basically just a salt war between somebody and that doesn't like me, and so anyway, so like 85 points for USMC Rifleman Dragon, right? USMC Rifleman Dragon, and you compare that to Erster, which is the current broken one, right? So you can get 16 dudes for 70 points, and they will have 1,000 suppression mana in total, right? And there's two separate targets, right? There's a USM, you know, so two bombers would kill two of them. You know, you'd need two bombers to hit both of them, unless they're on top of each other and so on. And so, yeah, the big squads aren't that great. So that's a key weakness in second US Marine. There was a point to this. So the point is, at the start of the game, you buy gunners and assault men, and you only swap into this lot later on. Especially, like, that's why they're at 2 vet. Well, to be honest, you just get a lot of infantry, and they come at 1 vet for free and all this. Well, for 5 points. So you start off by buying the gunners, because they're cheap, because they're only 7 dudes. Now, this M60E3 is different to the other M60 because this is a one that's designed to be fired on the move, so it has motion accuracy. So the M60E3 has more in common with the Mott Schutzen or the Bren gun than it does with the regular M60. But this is the regular M60. But the point is, right, that the Dragons used to be the expensive squads you wouldn't bring until later. Now they're going to be the cheap squad you bring at the start. And the Gunners used to be the cheap squad you bring at the start, and now they will be the expensive squad that you bring later. Because if they're 11 dudes, it's going to cost a lot more than this, right? I'm trying to think of 11-man infantry. There must be quite a bit, but basically it's just this minus 2 guys, so it'll be 65 points. Maybe 60, because of the, you know, the lack of Resolute and Vet and all this, right? Because the reservist, whatever, partial reservist thingy. Trying to think about who's got 11-man infantry. They add units so fast, right? It's hard for me to keep up. But that's they've not got AT, so that doesn't count. Not got AT. Like Strelcy, a Strelcy 10. These guys are 10. Although they're reservists, they're like airborne and all this, and they're proper marine. These guys are basically Marines. Like, they have the Marine curve. I appreciate their Foreign Legion. Yeah, 10 dude special forces. Yeah, it'll be about 60 to 65 points, basically. I'm trying to think about, because, like, these guys have the vet. So, and the ones in, so that's got the Resolute and stuff, and that's 70. So take away the Resolute, and take, you know, the vet, Resolute, whatever, Marine thing, because these are proper Marines or whatever. So that's -5. And take away one guy, it's -5, so there'll be 60 points. It depends on their transports, right? But we haven't got to that, because apparently this is going to take a long time. USMCR Rifleman AT4, so they'll be probably 5 points cheaper than the current ones. It just depends on the stats of this M16 funny thing. So yeah, it'll be like that, but the vet curve will be lower, and it'll probably be 5 points cheaper because of the Resolute thingy. Likewise, USMCR engineers look very familiar, but will replace their M60 with an M16A1. They'll also have access to the Lark V wheeled boat as a transport option. Okay, so this is the Lark 60. I assume the Lark V is not as big as the... Bro, where's my Osprey? So that's that abomination. I mean, there are some boats in this game. It's just, I don't think they get a better amphibious speed, you know? Like, I don't think this does. So that's a Pactoid boat, and so on and so on. So it'll be like that, basically. Might be identical to it. And yeah, the engineers... It's interesting, because your infantry is going to be cheaper but worse, if that makes sense, as a general rule. So these will be 50 points, right? And you know, they'll just be more like regular engineers, which are 50 points. I'm trying to find them. There they are, you see, right? Presumably. And there you go, there's an M60, and it'll be slightly different, but yeah. USMC leader get 1 plus extra soldier compared to, sorry, USMCR leader gets 1 plus extra soldier compared to the USMC squad, bringing with them an M16 1A1, and that'll be this, just spelled wrong, LMG. So will this still be 3 per card? Because that's sort of the whole point, right? If this was 2 per card, I wouldn't bring it. I appreciate it comes in Das Rocket, which is very funny. It's like the Lynx rocket, right? Except better, but it costs more because it's got 8 HP, so it doesn't die in one shot to an Osa or a Trax Rapier or a Tunguska or a Tor or a Crotal, in the same way that I know I'm missing some. In the same way that the Lynx rocket does, and the rockets are better because I believe they have more range. So I'm now talking about something that we don't know if it comes in the division, but you know, bear with me. Is it classed as a helicopter if it's transport helo? Yeah, so look, this has less range. Big sad. If I was in charge, I'd just make all the British divisions broken as fuck, and if anybody asked me, I'd just lie and say, no, actually they're underpowered. Anyway, the USM, the 4th Marine Division, being a training division, would field some USMC instructors, providing some expert leadership to the part-time soldiers, so that's actually very important. So what are the instructors if you've been living under a rock? They provide you with +1 veterancy, and remove reservist traits, but you won't have the reservist trait, but getting free... Well, not free, you obviously bring a unit with it. Veterancy is very important. Sadly, all my decks got nuked by a faulty strike team build, but TKS, basically, you run 1 card Green Berets for 2 cards, Heimat Schutzen typically, or Heimat Jaeger. And the idea is these guys, 1 of these for every 2 of these. You obviously don't want to blob them too close together, but this then just becomes 9 guys for 40 points at 1 vet without reservist and they've got a Carl Gustav, so it just suddenly becomes an amazing squad. But, you know, you are paying for it in that you have to keep the instructors with them, but they can shoot too. So, sadly, it's not told us, you know, how many dudes are in the squad, what weapons do they get. They're probably still sorting it out, right? So, yeah, I mean, you might not need them because none of your guys are no-vetted anyway. None of your guys are reservist anyway, right? When the 1st Marine Division lent out a Marine detachment to Operation Just Cause, in Panama in 1989. They were accompanied by elements from Fleet. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube. Security Team FAST from Marine Security, specialized in close quarter combat. USMC FAST squads are 6 men with 4 Colts, SMGs, 1 SAW, 1 scoped M16 DMR. So that'll just be like all of the DMRs we could assume. Although it's a 5.56 DMR, not a 7.62 DMR, so maybe it will be different. And smoke grenades. They're deployed with the resolute shock and security traits. They also ride to battle in their own dedicated, meaning non-recon, which is the new part, USMC LAV 25 FAST. So finally, we get LAVs in the Inf tab. This is the first wheeled autocannon in the Inf tab in the game. There used to be another one, the VAB. Right, the VAB that nobody uses anymore. Used to be completely broken. This used to be just an autocannon, and this was back, like, before autocannons were nerfed, like 2 rounds of autocannon nerfs ago. And it was cheaper, and it was a proper autocannon, and so it was very, very difficult to fight against that. So what you're getting here is a LAV in the Inf tab. So you get rid of the reconness, and it probably becomes 60 points now, right? So your first wheeled autocannon in the Inf tab, barring the one that got taken outside and shot. Honestly, at the time, it was completely broken. It was absurdly broken. And there were these French guys constantly talking about how it wasn't OP. And then it got nerfed, and they still kept playing it. And then it got nerfed like 3 more times, and they still play it. This division, it doesn't need nerfing. Anyway. So it'll probably be about 60 points. This lot, 4 Colts, 1 SAW, 1 M16. So that the Colts, the Rangers get them. So it's classed as an SMG. There's no separate thing for carbine or carbine if you have fetal alcohol syndrome. And they're actually really good at suppressing people because they fire a lot of bullets. Look at the suppression. And DMRs are good at suppressing people. But I'm pretty sure all DMRs in the game are 5.56. Like, so if you look at, like, Lie Scouts, it's L.A.I. Will.I. and .Scouts. You see, this is actually this is a DMR, but it's 7.62. I can't think of any 5.56 DMRs in the game, so it might have bespoke stats, but it's a similar kind of idea, except not resolute, but 2 more guys, so it'll probably still cost 40 points, right? I mean, it might be 35, but for 6 guys, 35 points for 6 guys. Oh, actually, no, that makes sense. It will probably be 6 guys. It'll probably be 35 points because if you think about Panzer Grenadier, yeah, so 35 points for 6 guys with a DMR, an MG, none of this submachine gun carbine nonsense, and an AT. So it should probably be 30 points for the 6 guys. Because the AT matters, right? And if you look at, like, Deckung's Gruppe, yes, 30 points for 6 guys. Yeah, it'll be 30 points. Even though this actually has a better loadout, I doubt they could make it 25, because then you're thinking, like, Vopos. They could make it 25, but I don't know, you get price compression issues, right? But yeah, 4 SMGs, 1 SAW, 1 DMR. Oh, they get smoke grenades. Yeah, so that now you're looking at, what's that one that it's like Rifles Patrol or something. So Rifles Patrol, 1 less guy, no AT, 30 points. Sort of, right? Makes sense, right? But yeah, Cardiff LAV 25 fast, so if they're like a 30-point squad, it might be like 10-7-5 vet curve. But at the very least, it'll be like 9-6-4 vet curve, so you can get, 6 LAVs in the Inf tab. It's very cool. For mostly budgetary reasons, the 4th Marine Division doesn't have access to the AVP 7A1 with a grenade launcher. That's this thing. Nice piece of kit, this. People say it's OP, they don't know what they're talking about. It's basically just it's specialist anti-infantry transport, which is very rare. There's nothing else like that in the game, so they don't know how to cope with it. If you compare it to the BMP one, like, I'd much rather have the one on the left in most cases. But the point is, the one on the left, it gets more armor, and it's very good against vehicles, but it's worse against infantry. So the point is that they do different things. So plebs think the AVP 7A1's OP because they've never faced anything like it before. And they're like, oh, all my infantry died. But if you actually think about it, it's trash against vehicles, so you just bring the appropriate counter and it dies. Whereas a BMP1 can fight against the vehicles, right? Um, Instead, the battle group relies on the older USMCR AVP 7 variant with a single 50 cal machine gun. However, with Warno's March to War, the division gets their hands on a bunch of EAC enhanced applique armor kit. This is pronounced applique armor kits to create a new unarmored USMCR AVP EAC available to a limited number of riflemen cards. Well, hang on. What is riflemen? Is it this? Will there be USMCR riflemen law, maybe? What is riflemen? It would be cool to get USMCR riflemen law. Um, or is this just for that? Anyway, so this without the grenade launcher is 25 points, right? Because it simply becomes one of those oh, what's it called? Div mob gets them. You know what I'm thinking of. Province, yes. So, an IVE. But no, there are M113 variants with 50 cals and smoke for 25 points. I just can't remember who gets them. It's not Denmark. It's not Canada. Actually, I think the Americans get it. Yeah, they backported smoke to this. And they actually changed the model to put the smoke launchers on it. So, there is hope. Maybe the Challenger will get its second machine gun. So, okay, take away the grenade launcher, it becomes 25 points. IMO. I know people are going to say, yeah, but 2 armor. Yeah, but, like, come on, bro, you're paying 30 points for a 2 armor, 50 cal. Yeah, I think it should be 25, really. It's just there's a lot of price compression at this range. Yeah, yak. Although, actually, hang on. But then the enhanced applique armor kit will probably be 35 again because it'll have 3 armor. But 3 armor and no, hang on. The EAC one should be 30. 3 armor and a 50 cal, right? Because yeah, you get into territories where it's just not fair compared to like this is 3 armor and a Grom and a Malyutka and a PKT. So that's 30 points, right? And the smoke one is 35. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see. But basically, to top it off, you'd expect the one without the grenade launcher to be 25, and the one with the armor without the grenade launcher to be 30. We'll see what actually happens. So, Arty, the Arty tab. Thankfully, that didn't take very long. It certainly wasn't 30 minutes of me yapping, but, it's an infantry div, so it'll get faster. I forgot to mention all these, these people. Lovely people there, right? I don't see the guys from this image. Where are all my American Kuwaiti guys? Yeah, man, that can't be the U.S. Marine. Look at that flag. Does that strike you as an American? That looks like a Saudi Arabian flag to me. These guys, yeah. I mean, obviously, people can move around, right? I don't look very British, but anyway, artillery, an average category, very similar to the Second Marine Division, but with USMCR units filling in the ranks, including the 81mm mortar, the LAV-M self-propelled 81mm mortar, the howitzer, and the M109 and M110 self-propelled guns. Right, now, this is very funny, isn't it? So, every arty piece here has 1 vet for free because they are Marines, and they pay more for being Marines. Then somebody turned around and said, this shouldn't get 1 vet. So now this one doesn't get the 1 vet. So the USMCR version is going to be the same. Thank goodness everything becomes the same. But yeah, the current meta is to just not bring these at all in 1v1. The current meta is to bring all the Toad stuff because you're going to get counter-batteried anyway, so you might as well save your points and get the Toad stuff, right? So losing the rank of vet for these matters. It doesn't matter for the mortars so much because what you lose aim time on like 10 seconds or whatever, it doesn't matter. But for something like this, paying 5 points extra and having 20% higher fire rate, it's very, very worth it. It's lost 5 points out of 120. Nobody cares, right? It's less than 10%. So yeah, so it's less than 2.5%, right? Oh, now I have to get a calculator out. So it's 4%. So yeah, you will miss the rank of vet on this. This will just be the same now. Thank goodness everything is fair. And you won't really, to be honest, it might be a buff to only pay 35 points for this instead of 40, right? Back to what we were saying before. So yeah. Now this is cool. The USMCR AVUP 7 Miklik, which is the M60 coffin launch. So yeah, NATO only has, well, now it has three. Three coffin launch, well, one coffin launcher actually, and that's the one that's in 9th US. The Miklik thing obviously is getting added, and the Cat Fey. So the Cat Fey is very, very inefficient for what it does. Like you kind of need it, but like so. Would you rather, kill one infantry unit every 60 seconds with a 10-second aim time and a 200 supply cost? Or would you rather kill two or maybe even three infantry units every 288 seconds, also known as almost 5 minutes, with a 20-second aim time and a 1,260 supply cost, right? So you see the issue. So the Miklik is a lot better than the Catfey, so you will enjoy the Catfey. Obviously, these things are subject to change. Generally, if somebody notices a problem, they complain about it, and maybe it gets fixed. But I don't know what's going to happen, right? But for right now, the coffin launchers are way better than the Catfey. So that's going to be great. So it's just going to be the Catfey, speed, armor, etc., with the Miklik. So it'll probably cost like 70 points or something. Because if you think about the SPWRT, yes, this thing. Wow, you're getting a really good deal on the AVLM, aren't you? That's crazy. 10 points for 10 armor. Yes, please. And smoke. But yeah, all the coffin launchers are the same. It doesn't matter on the caliber or anything like that, which is a shame, but whatever. So yeah, it'll probably cost 80 points then, and it'll have smoke. Yeah, the AVLM should probably be a little bit more expensive. I don't know, really. I like 9th US, so I'm sort of biased. Anyway, now we get to the Abrams, right? We've been waiting a long time for this. Sorry this took so long, but we're trying to compare things, and that takes time. Pretty good category. A bit better compared to the other Marine Corps division in Warno, which they couldn't be bothered naming, but I'm trying to make an empty deck. So it's going to be better than that in terms of slot costs, right? So there'll be at least one more. 112,333. Compare it to like what, 9th US? 1112,233. So it'll probably be like that, I assume, right? The armoured workhorse is the USMCR M60A1, led to battle by the regular USMC M60A1 CV. As mentioned previously, in Operation Desert Storm in 1991, two companies from one of the 4th Marine Division's battalions were equipped with... It's time for an ad break, guys. No, it's not. The USMCR M1A1 HA Abrams, which we have replicated in Warno, so finally another heavy tank for NATO. Furthermore, dedicated tank destroyers take on the appearance of USMCR M1025 Humvee TOW 2 and USMCR Lav ATS. So, the the tanks, it's better to have the not pseudo reservist on the tanks, because you can bring them at 2 vet and still get 6 of them, right? But now you won't be able to do that. You'll bring them at 1 vet and get 6 of them, and it'll cost 5 points less, which literally doesn't matter, right? So it's it's less than 5% or whatever. So yeah, it's a downgrade. And also you don't get the funny 23 pen one, I'm assuming, right? Don't get the funny 23 pen one, but you do get the M1A1 HA Abrams, which will probably be identical to the one in 3rd Armoured. It'll have a different skin, but it's what's on the inside that matters. So that'll probably be like that. It just depends how many cards of it you get. And then, like... So let's say you get 2 M1A1 HAs and 2 cards of the M60s. I mean, it can work. It's just, if this dies, you're just going to throw yourself out of a window. So you can understand the problems. So you'll be mainly playing around the M60s with like 1 M1 HA, and also like we haven't got to the AA yet, but if you get the Eyehawks and the good fighters and stuff, then you can keep it alive, right? So we'll see what they get when we get to that. And then yeah, or you could bring it at no vet, because I don't know how many cards you're gonna get, right? But let's assume you get 2 cards, because if it's only 1, then you literally just get 1. So that. So you could deliberately bring it at no vet, and then always have the M60A1 CV with it, so that you have 4. Also, no vet isn't as bad as it used to be. The stress recovery got buffed. I'm very glad they did that. It used to be like less than 1/3 of 1 vet. Now it's slightly less than a half. It used to be like 0.5 or something, and now it's 0.75. So no vet isn't as useless as it used to be, which is a nice change. But yeah, it would be great if you got an instructor tank, so you can vet it up. Because you put in a CV next to it, which is also a high priority target, right? So you're going to lose something expensive whichever way you slice it. So it might just be a case of bring out the M60A ones at the start, which don't have the vet, so that's a problem. And then... so it'll just be that, but you only get 6 of them. And then as the game goes on, you buy your 1 heavy tank after you've killed some of the enemy bombs. Now, and then this'll be that without the... Oh, that's interesting. The vet curve's actually gone down here. It shouldn't, technically. It's not here, but here it's actually gone down, right? I think. How many Humvee TOW 2s do you get? Isn't it 8? No, it's fine. Oh, I was just wrong. Okay. Get more sleep, Hippie. Get more sleep, Hippie. So this will be that, but with 1 rank less vet and 5 points less, presumably. And this will be that with 1 rank less vet and 5 less points, presumably. The idea is, this is more of a stealth defensive option. So it hides in the forest, or it goes around the sides or whatever. It's got good stealth, it fires, you can't see it. The idea behind this is that if you use this like an IFV, if you're in an armoured push with the M60s, you prefer this one. Why do you prefer this one? It's got 2 armor, so it might survive a tank hit from max range. ATGMs it tends to die to. But it's got smoke, so it can get out. It's faster. And it has a salve length of 2, because there's 2 tubes hit. That's very, very important. It's the same reason why Bradley's cost so much. So if this misses or hits, it has to reload for, I admit, only 7 seconds. But actually it'll be longer, because it won't be vetted. So it'll be 8 seconds, wow. Whereas this will fire 2 and then reload for whatever, 12 seconds. So it helps more in that tank fight. I don't see the advantage. I don't think this is an appreciable advantage, losing the stealth in exchange for that, so I prefer the Humvee TOW. But there is a case to be made that, like, because if you want to sneak them around the sides, well, this actually goes faster and gets smoke, and and still has mediocre stealth, so it can actually still be snuck around the sides, and it'll have the salvo length of 2, so if it misses the first time, it doesn't just die. But I prefer the stealth. If your enemy can't see you, he can't shoot you. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Hopefully you've learned something. So that's those. Now we get to Recon, which is another good category. They mean that in terms of slot costs, right? So I can't remember what they said about the Marine ones, but like I would say that's a good category. 111, 1111, etc., etc. Compare that to first UK armored. It's actually it's nice, but these are all 3-pointers, so you just never bring any of them because you just die. So balance, man. My last breath, I spit at the USMCR Scout Snipers. Too strong with this M16A 15560 MR. Hopefully they give that bespoke stats, because it's a 5560 MR, we don't have one of those. Basically, they should make it shoot faster but have less damage and suppression. And this is a 762 DMR, because otherwise they'll just be the same. Coming either in unarmed or armed Humvees, or unarmed or armed nice helo thingies, right? So I believe we do already have scout snipers. Scout spipers. Yeah, so you see, this is an M1 Garand, and it just has the... Oh, this will be 2... No, yeah, so do you see how the M1 Garand has the same stats as the M21? One wonders why they ever bothered to replace it. So we'll see, right? But this is a full-powered sniper rifle, and these other guys will be DMR kiddos, which means that they've got more in common with those, like this lot, basically. Which costs the same, but has less range, but basically it's like the vet curve's better and stuff like this. So it might just be that, but 30 points and a bit worse. Right, that's also a possibility. Or it could stay at 35 and get like a super nice vet curve, because if you look at... So this is like 3 at 1 vet, and if it was the MCR, it would be 3 at no vet. But if you look at Fernscharfschütze, they are not in that div. They are in second Panzergren. What? Yes, they're like 4 at max vet, so that's the difference. So will it be 4 at max vet? It'd be 3 at max vet? Who knows? Either way, sniper, they get the thing where when they're stood still, their stealth goes up to above exceptional. Both of them. It's just these guys aren't in the ghillies and the other guys are. But look, this guy's, he's got the, he's the army men. He's got the green plastic on his face, so, Then you've got USMCR Recon, which is 4 strong with a law. So that's like USMC Recon, but worse. So USMC Recon. So that's that, but laws instead of AT4s. So they'll be probably 35 points. A bit more like British Scouts. It's like, is it worth 5 points for a bloody LSW, right? No, it's 8 dudes, okay. So yeah, it'll probably be 35 points. It might be 30, because it's not the Resolute Vet thing, so you might lose another 5 points on that, but like, I don't think it's... Like, paying 5 points for an MG is not worth it. Yeah, the USMCR Lie Scouts, and they come in the USMCR Lav 25, so that's 2 M16s, 2 Saws, and Laws. Oh, that's better than the regular Lie Scouts, because the regular Lie Scouts don't have AT. And that is a colossal pain in the arse. So, yeah, so like the DMR, great, but the AT... So when you open as Second Marine, you get these, which have 130 kilometers an hour, and they can't kill vehicles. And then you bring these with the Lavs, but the infantry can't kill vehicles. So you're either relying on the Lav to kill the vehicles, or you also have to bring the Force Recon. or the USMC Recon. So if this had AT instead, and, this won't be Resolute and Vet and all this, right? So So that'll be 5 points cheaper, presumably 65, and that'll be 5 points cheaper, maybe. It should be. So that'll be 35. So instead of a 110-point combo, it's a 100-point combo. And yes, it's very nice to have your auto cannon at 1 vet, because without it, it doesn't really do a whole lot. Because this is the chance of hitting once in the first salvo, and without that, I'm trying to think if there's like Bushmasters that don't have the vet, so I can show you. Oh, actually, the Bushmaster is still 65% chance to hit. Just thinking something like a Fox is really, like, generally you miss the first salvo. But anyway, the combo will be 100 points, and the infantry will have AT, which means that you can cover 2 angles with, like, you just put your scouts in one place, and the AT means they can't come down there, and you put the lav in the other place, and that can kill vehicles by itself. So actually, it's better for it to be like that. And it will be, presumably, 10 points cheaper. So that's a buff. Then Navy SEAL Recon. This dedicated Recon SEAL team is 4 dudes. Oh, great. With 2 Colt Commandos, 1 SAW, and 1 M40 proper sniper, and the Calca staff. They deploy with Special Forces and the Shock Trace. The Navy SEALs come in either Humvees or US Navy Special HH-1K gunship transport helicopter, fully kitted out with miniguns, rockets, and M219 machine guns. I'm counting the tubes, bro. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's an Artillerado. Those things suck. Anyway, this. So I understand. Oh, it's Special Forces, but honestly, small squads in this game suck. So it shouldn't be that much more expensive. I know there are, like, Pact has a lot of Special Forces small squads, like the shippers and all this, like that. There's one I'm thinking of, which I saw recently. It's on 19th check, and oh, I can use the filters. I'm so smart. There it is. 4 dudes, Special Forces, AT smoke 45 points. Right? So they won't have smoke, but it'll have a better thing. So it'll probably still be 45 points. Right? Although it might be like max vet and all this. But yeah, if it goes to 50, like, is it really worth it? The other one is Dinops, but they don't have AT. And I have to clear my filters. Are they not Special Forces? I thought they were. Okay. So they're 4 dudes as well. Yeah. Slightly different. But yeah. And they're not airborne forward deployment, right? Because it doesn't say they are. So the HH-1K, so that'll be this thing, because you'll notice there's no DAS rockets in the inf tab, which is a big letdown, because they're pretty useful. So instead you've got this, which is worse. So if you look at the Artillerado, so this has 6 HP, and it's got the miniguns and the Hydras, but it's only got 14 Hydras. So it actually sucks balls. It's really not good. Bueno is not a good division. I don't understand why people keep trying to get it nerfed. It's not a good div. So, but it'll have 8 HP because it'll be the DAS rocket version. So it'll have 8 HP and 10% ECM. And honestly, the 50 cals are like better than the miniguns. It's pretty crazy, but I'm trying to remember what it was called. What is it? DAS Scout. Yes, double 50 cals, right? In fact, yes, it's just that. Could have started with that, actually. So DAS Scout. But it's also got the miniguns, so you probably have to pay a bit more. So the issue with the miniguns, right, is that they deal less damage. And okay, the salvo link's 20. But they've got less range. Which means the accuracy's worse at the same range. They've got more suppression, interestingly enough. But yeah, they deal less damage. And it depends how fast the salvo is within the salvo. Like, if it's 20 bullets really fast, then obviously it does matter. But generally, I find the miniguns underwhelming. And I prefer the double 50 cal on the DAS Scout. But if it gets the double 50 cal and the minigun, then I guess you're not allowed to complain, are you? So how much is it going to cost? Beats me, man. It might just be 75 points because it won't be Recon. Add the miniguns, remove the recon. Yeah, something like that. Um, yeah, it's like 75 points plus 45 points. It's like 120 points, right? Yeah. Aerial recon include, and this is the new map that's coming with all this, right? Or new maps. The UH-1N DASIP, which is a variant of the transport DAS, but here in a recon role, replacing the rocket pods with two sidewinders. So that's this, but with two sidewinders. Now, the issue with AA helos in this game is that they're only good if you can get three of them. I have been experimenting recently. My pro guide brings the seed instead of the AA one, and I was experimenting recently with the AA one, and I lost. And then somebody used their tier 4 channel membership to force me to cast the game. So, maybe these aren't so great. But if it's a recon helo, it could be 3 per card. Right? I mean, there are recon helos which are only 2 per card. But if it's 3 per card, that would be a super useful card. And if it's 2 per card, that'd be shit. So, yeah, we'll see. And then you've got the Bronco Nogs, bro. You cannot call them that. A version armed with underwing rocket pods, plus an underbelly turret, equipped with the 197 20mm Gatling, capable of rotating 360 degrees. So that'll be interesting. Now, if you remember the old Harriers, before they nerfed them, used to shoot rockets sideways, right? Like this, used to shoot rockets, like, it would go past and it would still be shooting them sideways, and they nerfed it, because obviously it shouldn't have been doing that. So the targeting system is there in the planes for them to shoot when they're sideways. So that's actually pretty useful, because the main issue with the current Bronco and the A10 and all this, like the recon planes, is that flying. Come on, bro, don't do that to me. You're not got a separate one for planes? There's only 2 of them. That's probably why they can't be asked. Oh, I suppose there's more now. Yeah, so A10 rocket in 60 US. Is that so? Like, this is really slow, and so you can get it on target and shoot people, but what tends to happen is, like, you see somebody and then you can't shoot him because you've already passed him, and by the time you come round, like, you lose the vision and get it back again because your turning circle's so big in some cases. So the fact that it can shoot while going past is actually a very big advantage. The rocket pods depends how many they get, because if it's 14, like I said, it doesn't matter. Bronco. So this already had, like, this is 16 big rockets, which is good. But strangely enough, the Harrier rocket, there's something about the Marine one, it just doesn't do anything. Like, those Zunis don't do anything against vehicles. Whereas I feel like the Bronco ones do. I don't know if that's just placebo and they both don't do anything. So how many Zunis will it get? Or will it be the smaller ones? Because if it's the Sneb rockets, it's not actually as good. The bigger rockets are better. So yeah, that's interesting. That's new. There's no 360 plane recon thing. Air, rather bad. Oh no, that's AA. Sorry this is taking so long. AA. Rather bad, with hardly any organic anti-air defenses, as expected from the USMC. You'll get to play with the USMCR's Stinger and Hawk. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hawk as in not iHawk. Hawk as in regular Hawk. Oh no. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe they're all iHawks. But I means improved, right? Like iPhone, iRobot. It might just be a misprint, like M16 1A1A1 or whatever. But anyway, it's going to be worse than the current US Marine one, because it goes back to what we were saying about Resolute plus Vet for 5 points is great for more expensive units. So here, I'm getting 8 1-Vet Stingers for 55 points, but in the other one, I'm going to be getting 8 no-Vet Stingers for 50 points. and I'd much rather pay the 10% price to get the extra accuracy. Same with the iHawk. 110 to 115, I'd much rather have the extra accuracy. I do wonder if Hawk is a mistake. Like, how much worse is the Hawk than the iHawk? Like, you're really going to struggle, man. Second Marine's really weak against helicopters. It really is. Yeah, so now we're on... Right, helicopters. Average. The 4th US Marine Division doesn't have access to the Super Cobra gunship, instead relying on older but still twin-engined Cobras. Twin Cobras. These include the AH-1J Twin Cobra rocket with a mix of 70mm and 127mm rockets. So the 127mm ones are the good ones. It's like the Heavy Hog. And the AH-1T Sea Cobra AT with 8 ITOs and a separate AA version with 4 ITOs on one side and 1 Sidewinder on another to be as useless as humanly possible. What do you need 1 Sidewinder for? Although, to be honest, you don't really need 8 ITOs if it's only going to shoot 1 at once. So it might be worth bringing the 4 ITO one, because, you know, you just put up with it and maybe the 1 Sidewinder might come in handy if a plane comes. So the Cobras, the Twin Cobras and all this are better because they've got 8 HP and 15% ECM. But I don't know, apparently this thing is what gives it the ECM, but like the Cobras don't have the ECM and all this. So, yeah, how do you... So if you shoot the 1 Sidewinder and you've still got the 4 toes, do you just constantly lean to the left and you have to constantly adjust for that until you land? Anyway, the regular Cobras only have 6 HP. So having 8 HP is a big deal. It's the same as an Apache. And, yeah, the whole 1... So you don't really need more than 4 ITOs. If your opponent is a Spesh, he's just going to sit there and let you shoot him, which it does happen. But generally the ITOs are quite slow, and your opponent, you're either going to kill him or he's going to leave with 4 ITOs, and then you just go to the supply and get some more. So having 8 ITOs is not really... You don't really need it. So it might be worth bringing the AA one, just cause, right? And then next time the enemy bomber comes, you've just got a couple extra AA pieces there that might do something. It's one of those things I got to play like a bunch of games as it and figure out, because you can talk about things on paper, but ultimately if you haven't played it, you don't know. This mix of Hydras and Zunis, so the Heavy Hog, right? Heavy Hog versus Hog. So if you do the maths on this, you can work out that the 76 Hydra 70s does have more HE, especially and accounting for the accuracy and all that, you do have more total HE output than the Heavy Hog. The advantage of the Heavy Hog is it dumps its entire payload in 3 seconds. So you show up, you dump your entire payload, and then you leave before you die. So I prefer the Heavy Hog. So getting the Zunis is interesting. But you're going to get both. So, you just get both. And there they are. And look, it's the jammer thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Right. Now we get to the air. The air. So, air. Pretty good for an expeditionary battle group. Well, what does that mean? Are there any other expeditionary battle groups in this game? What does pretty good mean? Does it mean Erster Land Commando, which is kind of broken? 6 West German, which... The slots aren't amazing, but the bombers are. Or does it mean like 336Y, which is it's an expeditionary, right? Look at that. 3 1s, 2, 333. And then 2nd Marine, which is 2 1s, 2 2s, and 3 3s. So will it be better or worse? Employed in a strike role, the older Skyhawk will be deployed as bomb trucks featuring HE, Cluster, HE and Napalm, and Seed. Skyhawks, they're not in the game yet. They are in Red Dragon, so I could open up Red Dragon and show you them. Because, yeah, I don't know what the HP is going to be. I'm pretty sure in Red Dragon it's all just the same. Like, they're all just 10 HP. Might be wrong on that, but... I believe I brought these in Red Dragon. I was not good, but I really liked the really funny... Because rocket planes in Red Dragon. Sorry the FPS is so low on this. It's because I've got 2 games open at once. So it's got 20% ECM and 10 HP and 600 speed, but everything's got 10 HP in this, so You might have less. But yeah, the rockets in Red Dragon all fire at once because it's 300 rounds a minute. So it makes this like bang sound. This is very, very funny. In terms of Warno equivalents, probably say that limb thing. This. That's like 6 HP, but it's faster and it doesn't have ECM. So the Skyhawk, it might also just be like a Harrier, but with like slower and 6 HP, right? Or like a Gina, which is 6 HP, or an Alpha Jet, which is 8, which is also 6 apparently. Okay. That's weird. Could have sworn they were 8. Maybe they were at one point and they got nerfed. So you just have to see it to believe it, right? I assume it'll be like that. Except maybe 20% ECM and more or less HP depending on how they're feeling, right? Yeah, bombs, right? Does it have small bombs? Does it have big bombs? This appears to have rockets and bombs, so that'll be interesting. The F4S Phantom 2. So that's new. Will be covered as a multi-role fighter in AA, rocket, and napalm variants. Well, I couldn't tell you too much about the F4S Phantom 2 because it's not in the game. The F4 Phantom is, but the S version is not. Is it done alphabetically? So, like, you know, E and then F, and then G has more ECM, or is that just because it's the seed? Because, yeah, the F here obviously has more ECM. And this is the S. Phantom 2. The sequel. So who knows? I couldn't tell you. I could look it up on Red Dragon again, which I just closed. I do wonder if it's in this. F4S. Oh, it is. And it's in the Marines. So it's got 30% ECM, 10 strength, so currently it's the same as the other one. Hopefully that's not the case in this game. Hopefully the S is a bit different. Who knows? The Vietnam War's ERA-3B can be deployed in an EW role. This is an A3 Sky Warrior converted into an unarmed electronic warfare plane. Okay, but it's going to be an unarmed electronic warfare plane, so, you know, what's it going to be like? Well, couldn't tell you, mate. Like, is it going to be like the Canberra with its 10 HP, 60% ECM? Is it going to be like the Raven with its 10 HP, 60% ECM? Or is it going to be like the other 10 HP, 60% ECM? You're sort of getting the... This one only has 30, though. That's weird. I forgot that existed. Most of them tend to be 10 HP, 60% ECM. Right? The PPEU. And there's obviously this, which didn't used to work, and now apparently it works, and I still don't think it's worth bringing. So it'll probably be 10 HP, 60% ECM, but it might not be. It'll probably be a lot like that. I could have sworn there was like a... What's the name of the one in 6 West German? What's the name of the one in 1st Luftlanding? Oh, this just doesn't have EW on it. So there you go, this is like slow and... Alright, I'll have to report that. It needs brackets EW. Most importantly, and finally present in an American division. You'll summon him, you'll summon him. The FA-18AAA is an air superiority fighter, and there it is with at least 4 missiles on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 3 and it's just fired 1. So, yeah, the F-18, F-A-18AA. See which one it is. Basically, the Soviets got their newer missile, and it goes further. And the Americans got their newer missile, and it has 5% more accuracy. So, and it does not go further. They're still good planes. There's a lot of 40% ECM aircraft these days. So it'll be one of those. Which one? I don't know. But yeah, having 6 AIM, 9 Ms. I suppose if like you got like an unprotected... Like the one on the right is just obviously better. But the one on the left, if like there's an enemy unprotected helo rush, I guess you could sit there a long time and kill them, but after the first minute he's going to buy a fighter and chuck it at you anyway, so tends not to be useful to have so many short-range missiles. The longer-range missiles are useful, because if you only have two, like a MiG-29, you do find that, you know, you lob two and then, oh crap, can't do anything now. Yeah. So the 4th Marine Division is a reservist-based battle group with a host of older equipment and weaponry. However, its fighting prowess is not to be underestimated, and nor should its expeditionary capabilities, infantry and tank forces. So if you want to know about Tropic Storm, I covered that in a previous video. Just to summarise this one, I'm sorry it took so long, but I believe you guys like that, because you are weird. It's different to the current one. Is it going to be better or worse? It does do some things better, and it does do some things worse. So the main issue you have in 2nd Marine is that you suck against helicopters, because but now you're going to have the same things but worse here. And then but the main issue is you can't just chuck a plane at the helos, because what, you're going to chuck a 300-point Tomcat at the helos. So you tend to use these against the helicopters. And because it's slow, it gets both missiles off before it meets it, so it tends to be quite effective. Will it... this Phantom S thing, how much is it going to cost? Because that could be your early game anti-helo, right? If it's that price, you're willing to pay for it and do that, right? Or you can get the British one, which is worse and costs the same. Get me out. So, yeah, I mean, this is overpriced, really. It should probably be like 170, and then this should be 180, right? It's not actually a big deal, but yeah. So this would be your anti-helo, so you don't have to chuck a mega expensive Tomcat at it, so it might work out a bit better. Maybe the Skyhawks will have side missiles on some of them, right? So you're still going to struggle against helicopters. Your own... So at least your tanks, you have a late-game tank option, and you can defend it with iHawks and F-18, so that should be fine. Your infantry is probably better because it's not as expensive, so in the early game you'll have fewer problems. Like, it is different, and the Catfay is worse than the M-Click thing currently. But yeah, I think the US Marines are quite overrated. Like, a lot of people think they're OP, and that's because they just spent the whole game doing this. Just like smack your enemy in the face moment, don't play on 90% of the map. Which, you know, in team games, I guess that's what happens anyway, but in 1v1s, that's, you know, that's low IQ gameplay. And in that, they excel. But if you just flank them, they get completely screwed over, because all their stuff costs a load, and so on. And they're weak against helicopters. So it is different. I'm looking forward to it, right? It seems cool. I like it. Like, this will be interesting. But yeah, you don't get the DAS rocket spam. Although, you know, we'll see how good these things are. And your forward deployment, like, you don't get any airborne forward. You don't get the funny 130km/h jeeps, but you get more lavs. You get more lavs. It's a shame nobody bolted a ATGM onto a lav. I mean, they have, but I mean, with the autocannon as well. Just a wheeled IFV, basically. Yeah, interesting. Interesting div. And I'll be covering the other ones. Do let me know what you think. I do read your comments, and I hope you have a lovely day.